A black mayor's daughter, humiliated by cops in public, fights for justice. Will her truth spark change? Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for our latest videos. Don't miss this epic tale of courage. A scream tore through the city park's midday clamor, raw and defiant as Maya Johnson, a black woman whose orange two-strap dress clung to her Vogue model frame like a dare, faced down two white police officers, their laughter a venomous blade slicing through the crowd's murmurs. The sun scorched the grass, glinting off Maya's deep neckline gown, her presence a magnet for stares, some admiring, others judgmental. But it was officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn who turned desire into degradation, their patrol halting as they spotted her near a fountain, her phone raised for a selfie, her confidence a spark they meant to snuff out. Hayes's voice boomed, cruel and deliberate. "Dressed like that, you're asking for it." His words a public lash, his smirk twisting as Vaughn joined in, his eyes raking her body. "This ain't a runway, girl." The park alive with families, joggers, vendors froze, dozens of onlookers clutching phones, their silence a suffocating betrayal as Maya's eyes flashed, her voice a low growl. "Mind your own business." Her stance unyielding, her heart a drum of rage and fear. Vaughn lunged, his hand snatching the hem of her dress, yanking it hard, the fabric ripping at the seam. His laugh a jagged edge. "Cover up or pay the price." Maya slapped his hand away, her voice rising. "Don't touch me." But Hayes circled closer, his breath hot, his fingers grazing her shoulder. "You're a disgrace in that rag." The slur a whip, the crowd gasping but rooted, their inaction a heavier blow than the officer's hands. Maya's heels sank into the earth, her body tensing, her words a fire. "You're breaking the law." But Vaughn grabbed her wrist, twisting it until she winced, his face inches from hers. "Keep talking, and you're done." His threaded a cold spike, his badge a shield for his cruelty. The assault escalated, Hayes shoving her toward a bench, his voice a public execution. "Arrest her indecent exposure." The lie a bludgeon, his laughter echoing as Vaughn's grip tightened, dragging her across the grass, her dress tearing further, her arm bruising under his fingers. Maya fought, her nails clawing, her voice a clarion call. This is abuse, but the crowd 50, 60 strong stood paralyzed, some filming, none intervening. Their silence a wound that cut deeper than the pain in her wrist. A bystander's video, shaky and raw, captured it all. Vaughn's grip, Hayes' tug, Maya's defiance uploading to social media with hashtags that would soon detonate. But in that moment, Maya was a lone flame, her cries swallowed by the park's indifference. The officer's power a chokehold. Hayes' hand clamped her shoulder, forcing her down, his voice a taunt. "You think you're untouchable," the threat laced with a glee that turned her stomach, her dress now a tattered emblem of her resistance, her eyes blazing through tears. "You'll pay for this," she hissed, her strength a rebuke to their dominance. Then sirens wailed, slicing the air, and the crowd parted like a sea as Mayor James Johnson, Maya's father, roared into the park in a black SUV, his face a storm of anguish and fury, news vans and reporters spilling behind him, their cameras catching the officer's shock, their hands faltering as they recognized the mayor. James leaped from the vehicle, his voice a thunderbolt. "Release her now," his authorities shattering their bravado. Vaughn's grip loosening, Hayes stumbling back, his smirk collapsing into panic. Maya wrenched free, her dress torn, her arm bruised, her eyes wet but fierce. Her father's arm around her, a fleeting fortress against the trauma. James faced the officers, his voice a blade of ice. "You're suspended immediately." His words broadcast live by the swarming press, the crowd finally stirring, some shouting support, others filming, their earlier silence now a guilty hum. Hayes stammered, "We didn't know she was but James cut him off. His rage of fathers and a leaders. No one deserves this, not my daughter, not any woman. The camera zooming in, capturing the raw truth. Maya stood beside him, her breath jagged, her voice a quiet inferno. This is for every woman you've hurt. Her words a spark that ignited the reporter's frenzy. The video already viral. Millions watching as #justice for Maya surged. The park, a crucible of reckoning. The officers were hauled away, their badges stripped, their faces pale, but the crowd's complicity lingered. Maya's gaze piercing their averted eyes, her strength a silent indictment. James guided her to the SUV, his hand trembling on her shoulder, his heart breaking at her torn dress. The bruises, the betrayal he couldn't undo. The news vans trailed, their headlines screaming mayor's daughter attacked by police, and protests erupted outside the precinct. A national firestorm brewing. Maya sat in the car, her hands shaking but her jaw set, her mind replaying the officers' sneers, the crowd's apathy, her own unyielding fight, knowing this was the start of a war she'd wage with every ounce of her being. The city park, once a haven of laughter and sunlight, had become a crucible of rage in the hours after Maya Johnson's assault, its fountain now a silent witness to the viral video that captured two white police officers, Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn, tearing her orange dress and bruising her arm, their sneers a public execution of her dignity. The footage, shaky but searing, spread like wildfire across social media, amassing millions of views as #justice for Maya trended globally. The image of Maya's defiant gaze, tears streaking her face, dress torn, voice unbroken and igniting a national firestorm. Outside the precinct, protests erupted, hundreds gathering with signs reading, "Protect Black women and no more abuse," their chants and thunder that shook the evening air. Black and Latino families, white allies, and students united in fury, their phones raised, live streaming the growing movement. Maya sat in her father's office at City Hall, her arms still sore, the bruises a dull throb beneath her sweater. Her orange dress, now a relic of trauma, folded in a bag, her eyes fixed on a tablet streaming the protests, the crowd's passion, a mirror of her own. Mayor James Johnson, his face etched with guilt and resolve, stood beside her, his hand on her shoulder, his voice low. "We'll make this right, Maya." But his eyes betrayed the weight of his failure to protect her. The sting of knowing Hayes, his former intern, had betrayed his trust. Maya's voice was steady, a quiet fire. "It's not just about me, Dad, it's about every woman they've hurt." Her words a vow, her pain a catalyst she refused to let define her. The news cycle was relentless. CNN airing the video with pundits decrying police misconduct, while conservative blogs spun narratives of Maya's provocative dress, fueling a vicious backlash online, with trolls flooding her accounts with slurs and threats. "You deserved it. Stay in your place." Maya scrolled through the hate, her jaw tight, but the support drowned it out. Thousands of messages from women sharing their own stories of harassment, their solidarity a shield. A Black college student tweeting, "Maya, you're our voice." The protests swelled, spilling into the streets near City Hall, where Reverend Alicia Carter, a Black pastor, led a vigil, her voice soaring. "We stand with Maya for justice." Her words live-streamed, sparking #MayaStrong to trend alongside #Justice for Maya. Activist Lena Ruiz, a Latina organizer, took the megaphone, her voice a blade. "This isn't one incident, it's a system." Rallying the crowd to demand accountability, their signs a forest of defiance. James faced mounting pressure, his phone buzzing with calls from council members, the governor, even national leaders, all urging a response to the crisis. His press conference, scheduled for dawn to address the suspensions of Hayes and Vaughn and announce an investigation. But the weight of his role as mayor clashed with his role as a father, his mind replaying Maya's torn dress, Her bruised arm, the crowd's silence, his own blindness to Hayes's true nature. Maya, sensing his turmoil, touched his hand, her voice firm. "We fight together." Her strength a spark that steadied him. She turned inward, her mind tracing a lifetime of navigating biased catcalls at 15 teachers, dismissing her ambition. Job interviews where her skin spoke louder than her resume, each moment a brick in the wall of her resilience. Now crumbling under the officer's hands but rebuilt with her refusal to break. The investigation began with the city attorney, Laura Chen, pulling Hayes and Vaughn's records, revealing prior complaints of excessive force, mostly against Black and Latino residents, buried by a complicit precinct culture. James met with Chen, his voice sharp, no stone unturned, his demand for a federal probe a signal of his commitment. But whispers of resistance surfaced union officials defending the officers, claiming overreaction, their influence a shadow over the precinct. Maya, meanwhile, prepared to speak publicly, her decision fueled by the women's messages, her father's support, and her own fire. Knowing her voice could turn pain into power, she met with Alicia and Lena, their alliance a fortress, planning a rally to push for a law protecting women from such assaults, an idea already gaining traction online, with hashtag Maya Act trending as activists drafted proposals. The precinct was a powder keg. Officers divided, some shaken by the video, others loyal to Hayes and Vaughn, spreading rumors that Maya had provoked the incident. Their defiance a wall James vowed to dismantle. Outside, the protest grew chaotic. A bottle shattering against a precinct window, police lines straining as counter-protesters, waving thin blue line flags, clashed with Maya's supporters, the tension a spark away from violence. Maya watched the live stream, her heart heavy but her resolve unyielding. Knowing the firestorm was hers to channel, she drafted her speech, her words a call to action, her dress a memory she'd reclaim as armor, her bruises a map of her fight. James stood by, his eyes wet, his voice soft. "You're stronger than I ever knew," his pride a light in the storm. The night ended with Maya at the vigil, Alicia's choir singing behind her, their hymns a shield as she faced the crowd, her silhouette against the park's fountain, a symbol of a movement that would not be silenced, a firestorm ignited by her pain, ready to burn through a system that had failed her. The precinct's fluorescent lights buzzed like a storm gathering strength, casting stark shadows over the case that had erupted since the viral video of Maya Johnson's assault in the park. Her orange dress torn by officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn, their sneers a public crucifixion that had ignited protests and shaken the city to its core. Maya stood in a quiet office at City Hall, her arms still bruised, the pain a dull echo beneath her sweater. Her eyes fixed on a tablet streaming news of the growing unrest, crowds outside the precinct, their signs reading "Justice for Maya" and "End Police Abuse." Their chants a heartbeat of fury. Mayor James Johnson, her father, paced nearby, his face a mask of resolve and torment, his voice low. "We're digging deep. Maya, no one escapes this." His words a vow, but his eyes betrayed the sting of betrayal. Knowing Hayes, his former intern, had hidden a venomous prejudice under a mask of ambition. Maya's gaze was steel, her voice a quiet blaze. "This isn't just about them, it's the system that let them thrive." Her determination a spark, her trauma a fire she'd wieled for change. The investigation, launched with ferocious urgency, was a scalpel cutting into the precinct's rot, led by City Attorney Laura Chen, whose team pulled Hayes and Vaughn's records, unearthing a trail of complaints, 6 instances of excessive force, 4 targeting Black and Latino residents, all dismissed by a complicit chain of command. Chen met James in his office, her voice sharp. Hayes had a pattern harassment, intimidation, buried every time. Her findings a bombshell. But the revelation that hit hardest was Hayes's past 3 years ago. He'd been James's intern, a charming law student handpicked for a fast-track program. his bigotry cloaked behind a polished resume. James's hands trembled, his voice hoarse. I trusted him, the guilt a weight he couldn't shed, his failure a wound as raw as Maya's bruises. The investigation deepened, with FBI liaison agent Carla Reyes joining to probe systemic issues, her team uncovering a 2019 case where Vaughn had assaulted a black teenager, the complaint lost by a now-retired sergeant. Maya, driven by the flood of messages from women sharing their own stories, decided to speak publicly, her voice a weapon to amplify their pain, her resolve hardened by nights replaying the park's betrayal, the officer's hands. The crowd's silence, her own defiance. She met with Reverend Alicia Carter and activist Lena Ruiz, their alliance a fortress, planning a rally to push the Maya Johnson Act, a proposed law to protect women from public harassment, already gaining traction with #MayaAct trending, supported by feminist groups and lawmakers. Maya's speech, drafted in the quiet of her room, was a call to arms. Her words raw. No woman should fear existing. Her orange dress a memory she'd reclaim as armor. The precinct was a powder keg. Officers split some, shaken by the video, questioned their culture, while others, loyal to Hayes and Vaughn, spread whispers that Maya had exaggerated the assault, their union issuing a statement decrying hasty suspensions, stoking conservative media to paint Maya as a diva, exploiting her father's power. The backlash hit hard, with trolls flooding Maya's social media with threats. You'll get worse next time. Know your place, but the support was a tidal wave. Thousands of women tweeting #IamMaya, their stories of harassment, a chorus that drowned the hate. James faced a firestorm. His press conference, a tightrope walk. His voice firm as he announced a federal probe and vowed accountability. No one is above the law, not my daughter's attackers. Not anyone. His words live-streamed, sparking cheers from the protests, but drawing ire from union leaders, who threatened to walk out, their influence a shadow over the precinct. Maya prepared for her rally, her heart heavy, but her spine unyielding, knowing her story was a spark for a movement, her bruises a map of her fight. She visited the park, standing by the fountain where it happened, her eyes tracing the spot where her dress tore, her silence a prayer for strength, the crowd's apathy a wound she'd heal with action. Alicia's choir rehearsed nearby, their hymns a shield, while Lena's organizers hung banners, their energy a lifeline. The investigation's findings leaked, with CNN airing Hayes' complaint history, framing the assault as part of a pattern, the segment ending with a clip of Maya's defiance in the park. Her voice, "You're breaking the law," a rallying cry. But whispers of resistance grew. A union official met secretly with precinct veterans, plotting to discredit the probe, their defiance a spark that could ignite chaos. James met with Carla, her warning stark. Hayes' allies are circling, watch your back, her words a reminder of the stakes, his trust in her a counter to his past mistake with Hayes. Maya, meanwhile, faced her own threats in anonymous email. You won't last, her inbox a battleground. But she forwarded it to Carla, her voice calm. They're scared, and they should be. The rally loomed, a stage for Maya to reclaim her power, her speech a beacon, her father's support a rock. The movement swelling as women across the country joined #MayaAct, their voices a chorus that would not be silenced, a firestorm ready to reshape a system that had failed them all. A venomous silence choked the precinct's corridors, the fluorescent lights casting jagged shadows over a department unraveling under the weight of an investigation that had bared its soul, exposing officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn's assault on Maya Johnson as a symptom of a deeper, festering rot. Maya stood in a dimly lit City Hall office, her bruises a fading map of pain beneath her jacket, her eyes blazing as she gripped a draft of the Maya Johnson Act, a law to shield women from public harassment, her voice a molten vow as she debated its clauses with Reverend Alicia Carter and activist Lena Ruiz. This has to burn their excuses to ash. Her words a weapon, her torn orange dress, a specter she'd forged into resolve. The chants of thousands outside hashtag Maya Act thundered through the walls, a war cry from Black, Latino, and white allies rallying in the park where she'd been violated, their signs a forest of defiance. Mayor James Johnson, her father, sat across from her, his hands clenched, his face a battlefield of fury and shame, a file before him searing his conscience. Daniel Hayes, the officer who'd ripped at Maya's dress, had been his protege, a law student he'd mentored 3 years ago, his bigotry masked by ambition, a betrayal that carved a wound deeper than Maya's bruises. James's voice cracked. I put him there. His confession, a knife. His role as mayor crushed by his failure to see Hayes's truth, his eyes pleading with Maya, who met them with a fire that both anchored and scorched him. City Attorney Laura Chen stood by, her voice a scalpel. Hayes's record is a graveyard: 10 complaints, 7 against women of color, all buried. Her findings a grenade, with Vaughn's file mirroring the pattern, their convictions looming like a guillotine. The investigation, now a federal probe led by FBI agent Carla Reyes, unearthed a 2017 case where Hayes had pinned a Black woman against a car, her complaint lost by a union-backed lieutenant, the discovery fueling James's demand for a full reckoning, his voice a roar, tear it all down if we must. But the ghost of his trust in Hayes haunted him, a sin he couldn't unmake. Outside, the protests were a tempest, flooding the park with thousands. Alicia's choir a soaring shield, Lena's voice a blade through a megaphone. The Maya Act is our justice sparking hashtag protect women to trend globally. Women's stories of harassment flooding social media, a tidal wave that lifted Maya, her phone buzzing with support. You're our fight. Don't stop, but also death threats, texts snarling. You will bleed for this. Her courage a lightning rod for hate. The precinct was a viper's nest. Officers fractured some, shaken by the probe, whispered of change, while Hayes and Vaughn's allies spread lies that Maya had staged the assault, the union blasting the investigation as a witch hunt, their rhetoric igniting right-wing media to brand Maya a manipulative elite, their venom a storm she weathered with gritted teeth. James's dilemma was a crucible, his press conferences a gauntlet, his voice resolute as he championed the Maya Act and vowed to gut the precinct's corruption. We failed Maya, and we'll answer for it. His words live-streamed, rallying the protests, but enraging union bosses, who leaked a damning photo of him with Hayes at an intern event. The headline: Mayor's protege, Maya's abuser, a public execution of his judgment. The image was a gut punch, James's guilt a chokehold as he faced Maya, his voice breaking. I let you down, but Maya's grip on his arm was fierce, her voice a clarion. We turn this into their reckoning. Dad, her strength a beacon through his despair. The investigation surged, Carla's team seizing precinct hard drives, exposing a network of officers who'd shielded Hayes and Vaughn, their emails a blueprint of complicity, one naming a council member tied to the union, a revelation that threatened the Maya Act's passage. James met with lawmakers, his voice raw. This law is Maya's blood and bone, his fight a redemption. But union threats of a strike loomed, their power a blade at his throat. Maya prepared her rally speech, her words a war cry, her bruises a testament, her bond with Alicia and Lena a steel core, their late-night planning fueled by rage and resolve, their banners ready to flood the park. The protests turned volatile, a Molotov cocktail shattering near the precinct, police lines buckling as counter-protesters, waving thin blue line flags, clashed with Maya's supporters, the air a spark from anarchy. Maya returned to the park, standing where her dress tore, her eyes burning, the fountain's roar a mirror of her defiance, Alicia's choir a fortress. CNN aired the investigation's leaks, framing Maya as a revolutionary, her park video a global icon, but the threats escalated a brick through her car window, a note taped to her door. You're dead. Maya sent it to Carla, her voice ice. They're crumbling, her fear a fuel for her fight. James watched, torn between awe and terror. His dilemma a reflection of a system that birthed Hayes, his push for the law a step toward atonement, the movement swelling as #Maya Act gained national support, a firestorm poised to rewrite justice or be consumed by vengeance. The City Hall chamber was a crucible of resolve and rage, its high ceilings echoing with the fervent voices of lawmakers debating the Maya Johnson Act, a law poised to shield women from public harassment, its passage a beacon for a nation watching in the wake of Maya Johnson's brutal assault by officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn. Maya stood at the edge of the room, her bruises now faint but her presence a blazing testament, her eyes locked on the council's vote, her orange dress a ghost she'd forged into strength, her voice a quiet thunder as she whispered to Reverend Alicia Carter, "This is our moment." The investigation had delivered a searing verdict. Hayes and Vaughn faced convictions for assault and misconduct. Their records a litany of buried complaints. 8 targeting Black and Latino women, exposed by FBI agent Carla Reyes's probe, a reckoning that shook the precinct to its core. Mayor James Johnson, Maya's father, sat in the gallery, his face a storm of pride and torment, his heart scarred by the revelation that Hayes, his former intern, had masked a vicious prejudice, a betrayal that fueled his push for the law. His voice raw as he addressed the council. "This act is Maya's blood, our shame, and our duty." The vote loomed, with lawmakers swayed by the protests flooding the park where Maya was attacked. Thousands chanting at Maya Act, led by Alicia and activist Lena Ruiz. Their signs a defiant wave. Black, Latino, and white voices united, live streamed to millions, igniting #ProtectWomen globally. But a sinister shadow grew Hayes' allies in the precinct, backed by union hardliners, plotted retaliation. Their whispers of making her pay a chilling prelude to the violence awaiting Maya. The investigation's hammer fell harder, with Carla's team seizing precinct servers, uncovering a 2016 case where Hayes had choked a Black woman during an arrest. The complaint erased by a complicit captain, the evidence now fueling criminal charges. Hayes and Vaughn's convictions all but certain. James met with Carla, his voice a blade. "End this culture." His demand for a federal overhaul a vow, but the union struck back, leaking a doctored video to a right-wing blog, showing Maya seemingly taunting the officers. The manipulation, subtle but venomous, shared millions of times, stoking trolls to flood her with threats. "You'll burn for this. You're done." Maya forwarded the messages to Carla, her voice ice. "They're scared, and I'm not." Her courage a fire that burned through fear. Her rally speech a war cry, prepared with Alicia and Lena. Their late-night sessions a fortress of fury and hope, banners ready to flood the park. The precinct was a volcano, officers fracturing some, moved by the probe, joined reform training, while others, loyal to Hayes, scrawled Maya lies on locker room walls. The union threatening a strike. Their statement, "The law's a rush to ruin," igniting conservative media to slam Maya as a spoiled agitator. Their lies a storm she faced with gritted teeth. James's dilemma deepened. His press conferences a gauntlet, his voice resolute as he debunked the video, presenting Carla's forensic proof of tampering. The truth will stand, his words rallying the protests. But the union's influence loomed, a council member tied to them wavering on the vote, threatening the act's passage. The personal toll was brutal. Maya's car was vandalized, its windows smashed in her driveway, a note taped to the hood, "Stop or die," while James found a photo of Maya, defaced with slurs, slipped under his office door, his guilt a chokehold as he faced her, his voice breaking. "I should have protected you." But Maya's eyes were steel, her voice a clarion. "We protect everyone now. Dad." Her strength a lifeline, her vision for the law a path through his shame. The Maya Act gained momentum, with feminist groups and national lawmakers endorsing it, a Senate hearing scheduled to adopt it federally, the park protests swelling, Alicia's choir a soaring shield, Lena's voice a megaphone. This is for every woman. CNN aired Maya's park video, framing her as a revolutionary. But the threats escalated. A Molotov cocktail tossed near her rally stage, extinguished by security. The act a warning of the vengeance brewing. Maya stood firm, her speech a beacon, her words honed with Alicia and Lena, their alliance a rock, their banners a sea of defiance. James prepared a public apology, his draft a raw confession of his trust in Hayes, a step toward atonement, his heart torn between Maya's courage and the fear of losing her to the growing danger. His push for the law a desperate bid to right his wrong. The investigation uncovered a union email plotting to disrupt the vote, Carla tracing it to a precinct veteran. Her warning stark. They're not done. But Maya's resolve was unshaken. Her visit to the park a silent vow. The fountain spray a mirror of her fight. Alicia's hymns a fortress. The vote neared. The axe passage a spark in a powder keg. With protests clashing against counter-demonstrations. Thin blue line flags waving. Police lines buckling. The air electric with the promise of justice and the threat of chaos. Maya's voice ready to lead a movement that would not be silenced. The city hall steps were a stage of reckoning, bathed in the harsh glare of news cameras as Mayor James Johnson stood before a sea of microphones. His face a raw canvas of grief and resolve. His voice trembling, yet resolute, as he prepared to deliver a public apology that would sear itself into the nation's conscience. A confession born from the assault on his daughter, Maya Johnson, by officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn. Inside, Maya watched from a side room, her bruises a faint shadow, but her spirit a blazing inferno. Her eyes fixed on a monitor streaming her father's words. Her orange dress a specter she'd transformed into a symbol. Her heart pounding with the weight of a movement that had swelled beyond her pain. The Maya Johnson Act now days from passage. A law to shield women from public harassment, fueled by her defiance. James's voice cracked as he spoke. Millions watching live. I failed my daughter, Maya, and I failed you all. His admission a thunderbolt, his eyes wet as he recounted trusting Hayes, his former intern, a man whose bigotry he'd missed. I put him in a position to harm, and for that I am deeply sorry. The crowd, thousands strong, led by Reverend Alicia Carter and activist Lena Ruiz, gasped. Their signs had Maya Act held high, Black, Latino, and white voices united. The moment a catharsis. #Protect Women surging across social media. Maya's breath caught. Her father's words a balm and a blade. His guilt a mirror of her own fight. Her resolve hardened as she prepared to speak. Her rally speech a call to arms. Her alliance with Alicia and Lena a steel core. Their banners a sea of hope. The precinct was a cauldron of chaos. The investigation's hammer falling harder, Carla Reyes's FBI team had convicted Hayes and Vaughn. Their sentences for assault and misconduct a public execution of their power. But the probe uncovered a deeper rot, a 2015 case where Hayes had beaten a black woman. The complaint buried by a union-backed captain, now facing charge. James's apology sent shockwaves. Officers fracturing some, inspired by the truth, joined a reform training led by Lieutenant Sarah Kim, while Hayes's allies spread venom, scrawling Mayor Trader on precinct walls, the union issuing a defiant statement. This apology bows to mob rule, stoking conservative media to slam James as weak. Their lies a storm Maya faced with unyielding fire. The Maya Act's momentum was unstoppable, with national lawmakers endorsing it, a Senate vote looming, feminist groups flooding the park with protests, Alicia's choir a soaring anthem, Lena's voice a megaphone. This law is Maya's blood. But the cost was brutal. Maya's apartment was vandalized, windows shattered, a note scrawled in red, "You'll pay, bruh." While James found a defaced photo of Maya on his desk, slurs carved into it, his heart a vice as he faced her. his voice breaking. I brought this on you. But Maya's grip was fierce, her voice a clarion. We're ending it together. Dad. Her courage a beacon through his despair. The investigation exposed a union plot to sabotage the act. Carla tracing emails to a precinct veteran. His arrest a blow to Hayes' allies. But a darker threat emerged, whispers of a final strike against Maya. A coded message intercepted by Carla's team, hinting at retaliation for the convictions. Their plans, a ticking bomb. Maya spoke at the rally, her voice a wildfire. We're not just surviving, we're rewriting the rules. Her words live-streamed, sparking cheers, a black mother embracing her. You're our daughter now. Her tears a spark. But the threats were a noose. A Molotov cocktail exploded near her stage. Security dousing it, the act a warning of the vengeance brewing. James's apology shifted the tide. Council members swayed. The act's passage all but certain. But the precinct's unrest grew. Officers loyal to Hayes plotting in shadows. Their defiance a spark from chaos. Carla warned James. They're targeting Maya, stay vigilant. Her words a chill. His trust in her a counter to his past blindness. His push for the law, a desperate atonement. Maya prepared her next move. Her speech a war cry. Her nights with Alicia and Lena, a forge of strategy. Their banners ready to flood the park. The fountain where she was attacked now a symbol of her fight. The protests clashed with counter-demonstrations. Thin blue line flags waving, police lines buckling. The air electric with hope and hate. CNN airing Maya's rally, framing her as a revolutionary. Her park video a global icon. But the threats escalated, a knife left on her car's hood. A text. You're next. Maya sent it to Carla. Her voice stone. They're done. Her fear a fuel for her mission. James watched, torn between awe and dread. His apology a bridge to redemption. The Maya Act a testament to Maya's strength. The movement swelling as women nationwide joined #MayaAct. Their voices a chorus that would not be silenced. A firestorm poised to reshape justice or be consumed by the vengeance lurking in the precinct's shadows. The City Hall chamber crackled with a volatile mix of victory and menace, its packed gallery erupting as the Maya Johnson Act, a law to safeguard women from public harassment, passed with a unanimous vote, a historic triumph carved from the raw wound of Maya Johnson's assault by officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn, whose convictions for assault and misconduct had seared the precinct's corruption into the nation's psyche. Maya stood at the chamber's core, her presence a defiant beacon, her eyes fierce with resolve, the memory of her torn orange dress now a mantle of strength, her voice a clarion as she addressed the crowd. This law is our armor, our defiance, our dawn. Her words live-streamed to millions, propelling #MayaAct to global dominance, Black, Latino, and white allies roaring, led by Reverend Alicia Carter and activist Lena Ruiz. Their signs a tidal wave of hope. Mayor James Johnson, her father, stood beside her, his face a storm of pride and pain, his recent public apology a lingering echo, his guilt over trusting Hayes, his former intern, a festering scar that drove his vow to purge the precinct, his voice raw as he hailed the act. This is Maya's fire, our atonement. Yet, beneath the celebration, a vengeful shadow coiled Hayes' allies. A rogue faction of precinct veterans plotted a brutal retaliation. Their intercepted messages, uncovered by FBI agent Carla Reyes, whispering of a final blow against Maya, a scheme that would plunge the night into chaos. Hours after the vote, as Maya walked from City Hall, a black van screeched to a halt, masked figures seizing her, their voices snarling. Your law ends here, a chloroform rag smothering her cries, her nails clawing as darkness engulfed her. The kidnappers, led by a disgraced officer linked to Hayes, raced to a derelict warehouse, binding Maya to a chair, her wrists chafing under rough rope, their threats a jagged edge. You've ruined us, and you'll pay. Maya's pulse hammered, but her gaze was iron, her voice a low hiss. You're already dead. Her defiance a spark in the stifling dark, her mind gripping her father's words, the rally's fervor, her own unbreakable will. James, alerted by Lena's frantic call after witnessing the van, unleashed the FBI and precinct, his voice a desperate bellow. Find her now, his guilt a vice, his failure to shield Maya a reopened wound. Carla's team traced the van's signal, zeroing in on the warehouse. Their raid a thunderbolt agent storming through rusted doors, flashlights piercing the gloom, Maya's captors scrambling. One tackled mid-escape, the leader cuffed as he spat. She had it coming. Maya was freed, her wrists raw, her body shaking but her spirit unbowed. James rushing to her, his arms a sanctuary, his voice fracturing. You're safe, Maya. Her nod a silent oath to fight on. The rescue, filmed by news drones, exploded online. Millions watching Maya emerge. Her eyes alight with fury and triumph. Hashtag Maya Strong surging alongside hashtag Maya Acta. The kidnappers' arrests a devastating strike against the precinct's old guard. Their plot, a futile gasp of a collapsing regime. The precinct was a crucible of upheaval. Officers staggered, some, inspired by Maya's resilience, vowed to reform, enrolling in training led by Lieutenant Sarah Kim, while others, tied to the conspirators, faced suspensions. The union's protests crumbling as public outrage overwhelmed them. Conservative media's slurs, Maya's stunt fuels anarchy fading against the truth. Carla's investigation intensified, uncovering a 2013 payoff to silence a Latina's complaint against Vaughn, the evidence bolstering federal charges. The precinct's corruption laid bare. James met with Carla, his voice unyielding. Rip it all out? His call for a department overhaul a redemption. His apology a cornerstone of change. Maya spoke at a rally mere hours after her ordeal. Her voice ablaze, they tried to silence me, but were louder. Her words a catalyst, a black grandmother embracing her. You're our heart. Her tears a spark. The park where she was attacked now a hallowed ground. Alicia's choir a soaring hymn. Lena's banner's a defiant crest. The Maya Act's passage was sealed, with national lawmakers rushing to adopt it, feminist groups swarming the park, CNN framing Maya as an unstoppable force. Her warehouse rescue a global symbol, but threats persisted, a knife left in James's car, a note to Maya, it's not over. She sent it to Carla, her voice granite, they're finished, her fear a forge for her mission. James's reform plans solidified, with a civilian oversight board launched, body cam audits enforced, the precinct's culture bending under his and Maya's resolve, their alliance with Alicia, Lena, and Sarah a bedrock, their rally a citadel, the kidnappers' confessions, wrung out under FBI pressure, implicated a union leader, their arrests a death knell for the old guard, the Act's passage a dawn that lit the way, but the fight burned on, with enemies skulking in the shadows, Maya's voice a lighthouse, her father's will a shield, the movement a firestorm poised to redefine justice or face the final wrath of those it had vanquished. The park's fountain shimmered under a dawn sky, its gentle spray a quiet hymn to the resilience of Maya Johnson, who stood before a crowd of thousands, her voice a soaring beacon as she spoke of the Maya Johnson Act, now a federal law protecting women from public harassment, a triumph forged from her assault, her kidnapping, and her unyielding defiance, a legacy that had reshaped a nation's conscience. Her orange dress, once torn by officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Vaughn, was now a symbol immortalized in murals, her survival of a vengeful abduction by their allies a testament to her strength. Her eyes fierce as she addressed the rally, we turn pain into power, fear into freedom. Her words live-streamed to millions, sparking hashtag Maya Act to echo globally, Black, Latino, and white allies roaring, led by Reverend Alicia Carter and activist Lena Ruiz, their signs of vibrant tide of hope. Mayor James Johnson, her father, stood nearby, his face a blend of awe and atonement, his public apology a turning point, his guilt over trusting Hayes, a former intern, whose bigotry he'd missed, now a fuel for his relentless reform of the precinct, his voice steady as he hailed the act. This is Maya's victory, our reckoning, our promise. The precinct, once a bastion of corruption, was reborn. Hayes and Vaughn's convictions, alongside their allies' arrest for the kidnapping, had gutted the old guard, with FBI agent Carla Reyes's probe exposing a decades-long web of buried complaints, payoffs, and intimidation, leading to federal charges against a dozen officers and union officials. Their downfall, a public cleansing. James's reforms took root: a civilian oversight board, mandatory body cam audits, anti-bias training led by Lieutenant Sarah Kim, and a mental health program for officers, with over 70% of the precinct enrolled. Their culture shifting from defiance to accountability. New recruits inspired by whistleblower Maria Sanchez, whose courage had cracked the conspiracy open. The community was a fortress. Donations to the Reform Fund soared past $800,000, funding youth policing scholarships and victim support. A Black-owned cafe gifting Maya a mural of her silhouette, titled Unbroken, while Alicia's choir sang at vigils. Lena's coalition launched community patrols, reducing arrests through dialogue. CNN framing Maya as a global icon, her warehouse rescue a symbol of justice prevailing. But a final shadow loomed: a rogue officer, loyal to Hayes and evading arrest, plotted a last act of revenge, planning an explosive device at a precinct reform event. His plan to frame Maya's movement as chaotic, uncovered by Carla's team through a tip from a repentant officer. The device disarmed hours before detonation. The officer's arrest a silent victory, broadcast as a footnote to Maya's rally, her voice drowning the last gasp of hate. They tried to break us, and they failed. The officer's confession, aired live, implicated a hidden union fund, crushing the last of the old guard's power. Their defeat a testament to the movement's might. Nationally, among the Maya Act transformed public spaces, with harassment complaints dropping, women reclaiming their freedom, while cities adopted James's precinct model, a Senate bill expanding oversight. Maya's speeches at global forums, her badge, a UN stage cementing her as a revolutionary. Her park video, a touchstone for change. The precinct's trust soared, with community walk-alongs a daily ritual, officers and residents rebuilding bonds. The mural of Maya's dress a pilgrimage site. James restructured the department, his lessons from Hayes shaping a rigorous vetting process. His voice raw at a council meeting. We failed, but we learned. His reforms a shield against future betrayals. Threats lingered, a slashed tire, a hateful note, but Maya faced them with the calm of her park defiance. Her security detail a necessity she bore. Her mother's voice a daily anchor. You're our legacy. Maya, her embrace a sanctuary, echoing her late grandfather's dream of justice. The spark that drove her fight. A year after the assault, a ceremony unveiled a statue in the park, a woman in an orange dress, fist raised, inscribed for Maya Johnson, who turned pain into power. Maya spoke, her voice a quiet storm. This is for every woman who fought alone, every silence we broke. The crowd: Alicia, Lena, Sarah, Carla, James, and thousands thundering. A black girl approaching. I'll be like you. Her words a seed for the future. James stood by, his eyes wet, his heart full, his reforms a vow kept. The precinct was a beacon, its officers patrolling with purpose, complaints plummeting, trust rising. The statue a testament to a system reborn. Maya returned to the fountain, touching its spray, her bruises a memory, her strength a blueprint, the movement a fire that had burned away complicity, leaving a legacy of justice. A nation awakened by a woman who refused to bow, her fight a warning to the silent, within and beyond the system. From public shame to a law in her name, Maya Johnson's fight transformed a nation. Thank you for watching, like, share, and subscribe to never miss a story. Hit the bell for our latest videos and join us in celebrating justice and awakening.